Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, Christians will never debate on prophecy. Now that may be an ongoing title that I'll be using, and others can use if they want. But Christians will never debate on prophecy or concerning prophecy because they don't know prophecy. Anytime you, and I'm going to be focusing on Isaiah 34, mainly 34 verse 5 and 6. I may go and try to read the whole chapter just as a breakdown, but let's see where the Spirit takes me. But we go back to vocab and before vocab, and recently, Christians, so-called Christians, because they're not Christians, been coming out the woodwork, coming against the whole Hebrew Israelite, doctrine. But they always bring up the same, really two arguments, that so-called Jesus and the Father is one and the same. There's three in one, and they want to argue that. I wouldn't even argue that if I had a debate. I said I'm not going to argue it because this goes nowhere. Or I might even say, okay, for argument's sake, we'll go with that. The second subject they would debate upon is whether other nations outside of Israel can be saved. And they'll go to the New Testament, they'll go to every scripture that mentions the word Greek or Gentiles, and they'll say, see, the Lord came for the Gentiles. The Apostle Paul, he was an apostle to the Gentiles. He magnified his office pursuant to Romans 11. So our response would be, anytime it mentions the Gentiles in the New Testament, it's referring to Israelites that lost their identity. That's why the Lord told the apostles, the disciples at that time, go not into the way of the Gentiles. In other words, don't deal with the Gentiles. Don't deal with the Samaritans, because certain Samaritans were going around saying that they were the Israelites, like the woman at the well. I covered that yesterday. Yeah, the Sons of Thunder said, the woman at the well was an Israelite because she said our fathers. No, because she was taught that, not that she didn't know. See, what happened was, go back to the video and get the full story. I went into, 2 Kings 17. And then that, around about the 20th, you can read the whole chapter, but around about the 20th verse on down, it tells you how the Assyrians took over the northern kingdom. Going to the history, the Assyrians wanted to take down Judah and the northern kingdom. The Assyrians attempted to take down Judah, but didn't succeed in doing that. But they eventually got the northern kingdom, and they took the king, and they made him pay tribute. And when you read the history they got from around them, that's why you need the Apocrypha to know the rest of the story, because Christians will say, where did the Israelites go? I might even ask that question on Chat GBT. By the way, I got Chat GBT, and I was going to ask a question. Anyway, Christians are going to, the Lord came for the Gentiles too. That's the body of believers, which are from all nations. If you go to Revelation 7 and 9, it says, in the multitude of every tongue. See, it's talking about every nation. Vocab, the other day, he was talking to two, where were they from? I think they were Senegalese. There was two of them, Christian apologists, and they were guests on Vocab show. And Vocab goes into to prove that the Lord came for the Gentiles at the Pentecost, he proceeds to pull up Acts 2, and then he reads all those nations off. See, these are all different. These are all people of different nations. No, when you start at I believe it's the 5th verse. I'm not going to go to it. It said, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Then it goes on to mention where they came from. The subject is Jews. If you write a paragraph, you break a paragraph up, you have the subject. If I'm talking about, if I'm doing, putting together a mechanic book on how to break down and put back together a transmission on a Ford 1965 Ford Mustang. Anything I say is going to be related to not just the Ford 65 Ford Mustang, but the transmission of a 1965 Ford Mustang. So I can't talk about an alternator starter. I can't talk about the sound system. I can't talk about that because the subject matter is the transmission. Now, if there's a book on everything to know about 1965 Ford Mustangs, the transmission part would be a chapter, right? But if you try to add in, oh, I can use this book to fix my Escalade or whatever. No, you can't. It's only dealing with the 1965 Ford Mustang. That's it. Oh, well, I got a Ford Edge. I can use that, but no, you cannot. So let's come back to Acts chapter 2. The subject matter are Jews. What kind of Jews? Devout men out of every nation under heaven. And when you read it, why did these Jews, devout men, come into Jerusalem? Because they were required to, by law, because they kept the law in the lands that they were born in, they were required to come to the place to keep the Passover, the tabernacles, and the Feast of Weeks, or in Greek it's called Pentecost, which means 50. That's the Feast of Weeks, or the first fruits. So when you're reading that, you can't say, oh, they came during the time period of the the Hanukkah. No, they weren't required to come during the time of Hanukkah. They came during the time of the Sabbath. The Sabbath is or new moons. They weren't required to come every month to celebrate the new moon. When you read the scriptures, it's just like reading any other book. It's cut up into chapters, various subjects, and paragraphs. And then you got sentences. You got a number of sentences that make up a paragraph. So, anyway, so you were wrong, vocab concerning using Acts chapter 2 to say, see, the Lord. This proves that the Lord came for every nation, and Peter and the apostles spoke to these other. You don't understand the scriptures, or you do understand it, and you're set up to deceive people. Bottom line is this: Christians do not know prophecy. Christians will never debate you concerning prophecy. So now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Isaiah 34 and 5, then I'm going to go to Isaiah 34 and 6, and then I'm going to go to Chat GBT, and I asked Chat, let me open this up. I asked Chat a question. Is Isaiah 34 and 6 a future prophecy? Let me go to the scriptures. I'll go to 5. I'll read 5 and 6. For the Most High's, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Now, when you go to the Bible Hub, they'll tell you that Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. It's talking about the Edomites. I'll even open it up over here. And upon the people of my curse to judgment. Upon the people, the subject is Edomites. What kind of people are they? People that the Most High put a curse on them. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood, meaning his sword is going to kill people, shed blood. And his sword are the ICBM missiles, his army. He's known as the Lord of Hosts. One of his hosts are these missiles. It is made of fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats. He's referring to these Edomites as lambs and goats because he said, it says later in his verse that this is a sacrifice. So if this is a sacrifice, you perform a sacrifice on the altar. You have the high priest say the blessings. He steps off the altar. They take the sacrificial lamb, goat, and they burn it. Well, the altar is America. And we are those priests, if you will, to call for the sacrifice. So the Most High is going to take us out the picture. Okay, let's beam you guys out. You said what you had to say. Okay, now let me sacrifice this place. Let me burn it with fire. So the Edomites are going to be likened unto lambs and goats and so forth. It mentions the word sacrifice and it mentions the word slaughter. So this is going to be a religious event. When Babylon is destroyed by fire, and Palestine is destroyed by fire, but we will be built back up. That will be a religious event. You heard? That will be it's going to be a ceremonial. This is ceremonial. What part are we in this ceremonial event? We're in the part where the priests, the prophets, bringing charges against this place. Then the Most High going to beam us up. Then He's going to drop the fire on him, and He's going to sacrifice this place. And I've been saying this for years. Let me read this again. The sword, or the instrument of death of Yahweh, is filled with blood. Meaning He's going to use a sword to chop living beings up and shed blood. It is made fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. Lamb is a sacrificial animal. Goats, sacrificial animal. Rams, sacrificial animal. It didn't say horses because a horse is not a sacrificial animal. A dog is not a sacrificial animal. For Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Bozrah. Ain't nothing happening in Bozrah. And a great slaughter, because when you have a sacrifice, you need a slaughter animal in the land of Idumea, in the land of Edom. So you got people saying, oh, that's going to happen in that land. No, there's nothing happening in that land. There's a handful of people over there. The land of Edom now is talking about America. The land of Edom is a people before it's a place. That's the Americans. which you're going to have Israelites involved in that and other nations involved in that too. A great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And let me read the 7th verse. And the unicorns or the one horns shall come down with them, and the bullocks, also animal of slaughter, with the bulls, animal of slaughter, a clean animal of slaughter, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompense, payback for the controversy of Zion. What's the controversy? That you got a group of people saying that they're, and if we say we're the people, we're anti-Semitic. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch from the missiles. And it shall not be quenched, it shall not be put out, night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up, and that's in Revelation 18, forever and ever, for a long period of time, from generation to generation. We're going to be in the kingdom. Babies are going to be born. And as soon as you have your wife gives birth, that's a new generation. Now, when it says generation after generation, the fire is eventually going to be put out. Go back to Revelation 18. But it's going to be a desert. So you're gonna have babies, and your babies are going to have babies, and your babies are going to have babies. And guess what? Ain't nobody going to go over there, develop and say, okay, I'm going to build America. No, it ain't going to be built back no more. It's going to be the forbidden zone. It shall lie waste, the desert, none shall pass through it. We're going to go over it, but we're not going to walk on it. Forever and ever. Then it goes into desert type creatures. So anyway, let me see what I say I was going to do. I was going to, okay. I wanted to go to 36. So if you ask an Edomite or a Christian, even a scholar, ask them about Isaiah chapter 34. We can go to the 5th verse. You can start the first, mainly the 5th. Because the second verse, the Most High's wrath against nations, really against Esau. But the nations are going to get jacked up too. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein. What causes the whole earth and all the people to hear this? The internet. And all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. So this is a great melting pot. So you got a lot of nations here. They're going to die too. Most High ain't going to hit an Edomite with a missile. Oh, well, that's a Moabite. Let me not hit him. No, Moabites are going to get burnt up too. And Israelites are going to get burnt up. This is beautiful. But it goes specifically, the specific person, you have the elite, they want to take out somebody in the plane, right? Because he's going to spill the tea, so as they say. So they crash the plane to get this one guy. Now he can have a family in there. He can have other people that's not related in there, and they can all die because it's a covenant. Oh my God, it's an accident, 250 people died. And they put the plane down because they want that one guy. So guess what? The Most High going to get that one guy too, which are the Edomites. That's why he specifies the Edomites. He mentions all the nations, how he's angry with all the nations, but he doesn't mention I'm going to get Moab, I'm going to get Ammon, I'm going to get... He doesn't say that. He specifies on who he really wants. and that's the Idumean. You listening, vocab? And we identified who the Idumeans are. We identified the land of Edom. This is the new land of Edom. Slaughter in the land of Edom. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. So let me open this up, and then I'm gonna go to Chat GPT to see what they say concerning this really this verse, really the 6th verse, because this might have been an event that already took place. Because remember that the Edomites, according to these like vocab and others, they were done away with. Okay, so this prophecy, did this come to pass? Because if it came to pass, then you can argue, Edomites done away with. But if you say it's prophecy that it's getting ready to happen, that means Edomites are still here. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, this is beautiful. Let me see here. Harab means sword. Take my word for it, or look it up. La Yahweh. Now that would mean, it says of the Lord, but the word La Yahweh means to the Lord. So to the Lord also can be translated into of the Lord. And the Hebrew word for of is shal. So it could be shal Yahweh. And it's got the name Yahweh. Like in Spanish, the word what could also mean how. Like if you say que, you can say what, or you can say que. You say what? Or you can say que lindo. What beautiful, or translated in English, how beautiful. So the Spanish kind of works like the Hebrew. Let me see something. With blood, that's bloodshed, and that word is dam, which is blood. Like right here, madam means with blood or from blood. Ma mean to mean from or with. Lambs, or lamb, singular, or karam, or karayam. Lambs. The yum makes it plural. Mention goats. So these sacrificial animals, these are all clean animals. He's comparing them, using these animals. He's comparing Esau to these animals that they're going to get burnt up. It's going to be a religious experience. It's going to be a religious event. Sacrifice. The word is zabak. You got a priest, zabak. The word zabak means sacrifice of righteousness. When you sacrifice something, You could sacrifice, offering, offer. You're killing something. Yahushua had to make the sacrifice in order for us to be delivered. And he had to be righteous. The covenant sacrifice, the Passover, which is a sacrifice. In the kingdom of heaven, we had the Passover. There's going to be a sacrifice involved because you have to kill a lamb. So that's a sacrifice. Will we have to commit to sin sacrifices? No, because we're not going to sin. Now people say, well, what about if an Edomite sin? Edomite ain't going to sin because we're going to be on his ass. He gonna be too busy working to think about doing anything. If he farts, we're going to fuck him up. If he coughs, we're going to fuck him up. If he scratches his head without permission, he going to get fucked up. So how in the hell are you going to sin? We're going to be on him. We're going to be on his ass. We're going to have them hounds from hell on him, like in the movie I'm Legend. Them hounds of hell is going to be on him. Thank offering. So he compared these Edomites to sacrificial animals, burnt sacrifices. And the altar is going to be burnt too. How about that? He's taking it all. Zabach, a primal root, which means, it said sacrifice, but the root word goes to the word slaughter, to slaughter, kill, slaughter, for sacrifice. To slaughter in divine judgment. So this place being destroyed is going to be a religious event. It's going to be a holy event. It's going to be a holy event. This is why Trump is giving Nettie the cold shoulder, because he knows what's going to happen. Even Biden said that. When he first, the war, the Russian-Ukraine war, some reporter asked him, are we going to send troops over there? And he said, no. He said it longer, no, because that would be World War III. So he made sense when he said that. Trump giving Netanyahu, Nettie, the cold shoulder, because he said, man, we ain't backing you up on Iran attacking. Because if they attack by themselves, Iran would destroy them. Bigger army, bigger military. U.S. gets involved, that's World War III. But guess what? There's going to be a World War III. And it's going to be a holy and righteous and a religious event. Ancient Bozrah is not going to be destroyed. Okay, slaughter. Let's look up the word slaughter. The word is sabach. Sabach. Slaughter, slaughter, animal, slaughter, slaughter of animals, slaughter. Slay, saw. Beast, the beast system. Sabach. To butcher. They butchered my son. Ron Goldman, father. When it was Jeff Goldman, when that the big trial in 1995. The guy Ron Goldman's father. He said O.J. Simpson butchered my son. Well, guess what? The Most High gonna butcher you Edomites. To slaughter, slay, butcher. Oh my goodness. Kill ruthlessly. Kill ruthlessly. Slain, slay, slaughter. Remember, Saul was supposed to kill the king, that king of Edom. The scriptures speak about the Amalekites, that he was supposed to slay them all. You got Nettie calling the Palestinians Amalekites, so we got to get rid of the Amalekites. And he did say it in his speech. So he is calling for a slaughter of those people, which he deems as Amalekites, which they're not. To slaughter, butcher. To slay, kill ruthlessly by fire. I wouldn't want to be an Edomite for all the gold and wherever. It's not no Fort Knox. There's probably not even gold dust in Fort Knox. So this is not good for you Edomites. Not the best time to be an Edomite. Not the best time to be an Edomite. So now I'm going to end it with this. I asked ChatGPT a question. Is Isaiah 34:6 a future prophecy? It gave me a lot of information. Isaiah 34:6 says, the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness. You ever cut up chicken or any type of meat and you got fat, you cut the fat out and you got to discard the fat? That's what it's talking about. So when you chop an animal up with a sword, you're going to have blood on the sword and you're going to have some fat on the sword. And you got to clean that sword. Make it shiny again. And with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of rams and kidneys of rams, the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, not ancient Basra. It's talking about Babylon. And a great slaughter or butcher in the land of Edom. This is now the land of Edom. Contextual overview. Isaiah 34 is a chapter of divine judgment or spiritual judgment. Like I said, this is going to be a holy religious event. This is going to change your religious beliefs, often interpreted as an oracle. The oracle is the prophet against the nations, especially Edom. Idumea. It uses vivid apocalyptic. What does the word apocalyptic mean? It means revelation, which is a matter of fact. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. Let me come over here. Let me come right over here. I was watching this, I believe it was Saturday. Okay, so this is a Know the Ledger. Sean Puffy Combs exposing the hip-hop Judas hip-hop on trial. Hashtag part 3. I was watching this. You get a chance, you can watch it. Very good. Presented by Red Pillar, which I believe they're Reubenites. They're brothers. They're Reubenites. Spirit telling me that they're Reubenites. Seminoles. Okay, so now let me come over here. Yeah, in this video, he going into how the small hats got involved in it and took it over, and pretty much, magnetized it, if you know what I mean. Magnetized. Okay. Apocalyptic meaning. Describing a prophesying. It really doesn't mean that. I will go to the root word. It means to reveal. But it's synonymous with prophesying. It's when you come across the word apocalyptic, it's a prophesying. So they're telling you that, describing or prophesying the complete destruction of the world. Let me do this. Let me go to Etymon. Okay. Got all this BS, man. All these goddamn commercials. All right. 1660s, pertaining of the revelation of John, St. John, in the New Testament, from the Greek word apocalyptikos, from apocalyptin, uncover, disclose, reveal. Revelation means reveal. Revelation. Back. Veil. You pull back the veil. That's what it means. So apocalypse is saying revelation. In the Catholic Bible, you got, instead of Revelation, it's the book of the Apocalypse, which means the same thing. The original general sense was prophetic. The meaning pertaining to the imminent end of the world is attested by 1864 related apocalyptical 1630s fulfillment, future prophecy. Contextual overview. Isaiah 34 is a chapter of divine judgment, often interpreted as an oracle against the nations, especially Edom, Idumea. It uses vivid apocalyptic imagery to describe the Most High's wrath and the coming destruction. So Isaiah 34 is yet to come to pass. Is it a future prophecy? The answer depends on the interpretive framework you use. Historical interpretation, past fulfillment. Many scholars view this as a prophetic denunciation of Edom. Prophetic. So a lot of these scholars say this is a future prophecy, but they're not going to tell you that they're the Edom. But we don't know who the Edomites are. But we know that they're still here based on what I'm reading. Which some, skipping a little bit, which some see as fulfillment of this prophecy. So in this view, Isaiah 34:6 was fulfilled in the ancient past. No, it was not. Because we would have the information on it. You'd have scholars digging it up. Apocalyptic future interpretation still to come, still to come. Others, especially in dispensational, you have people that are called dispensationalists or futurist Christians. You know, you got that's talking about these born againers that believe in these future prophecies. You know, the rapture and all that. And they'll go to Daniel 9, which Daniel 9, the whole chapter took place already. Futuristic Christian traditions see this as symbolic of end-time judgment, which is something that's yet to come, especially giving the dramatic and cosmic imagery in the rest of Isaiah 34, like stars dissolving, actually falling, and the heavens rolling up in as a scroll in verse 4, which is a mushroom cloud. In this view, Isaiah 34:6 prefigures a future. There it goes again. This is something Isaiah 34 is yet to happen. This is a religious event. This is the ultimate black swan event. I'm going to look that up for you too, possibly link with events in Revelation. Go to the book of Revelation. Let me go. You can read the rest of it. I'm not going to read all of this. I don't have to. I'm hitting the points. Summary. Yes. Y-E-S. Yes, it can be a future prophecy, especially if read in a symbolic or apocalyptic future event, revelation framework. Historically, it refers to the Most High's judgment on Edom, which is yet to come. Edom is still around here, vocab Malone, and may already be fulfilled in a historical sense. It's not fulfilled because they would have had the history to dug it up. They would have had some Edomite do a documentary on it. I'm standing on the ruins of this place where the Edomites suffered judgment. No, they can't find it because it's not there. It's a future prophecy. It's going to happen in our lifetime. Lifetimes. Lifetime. A dual, when the two, fulfillment or typological view holds both past and future. It got to be one or the other. Let me know if you I'm not going to deal with this stuff. Now, let's come over here right quick. This is, let me go to 6. Jump to 6. So I did a whole subject just based upon one verse. Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges. The sword of the Lord is filled, rendered a sword, it said Jehovah, no V in the Hebrew, no J in the Hebrew, so it's Yahweh, which is filled, made fat with fatness, or grease with fat. Different words in the original. The Edomites are compared to sacrificial animals, because the animals that's going to be sacrificed, Isaiah 34, are the Edomites and the other nations, mainly, specifically the Edomites. Gives you a handful of precepts. Zephaniah 1 verse 7, Jeremiah 46 verse 10, Jeremiah 51 verse 40, Ezekiel 39 and 17, 2 Samuel 1 verse 22, then it says Bozrah, then it goes to Isaiah 63 and 1. They're saying this is the same event. So if Isaiah 34 took place, that means there would be evidence that the Lord came down with the angels and slaughtered them. There's no evidence of that. Mention all these beautiful scriptures. was a chief city of Edom, certainly not a place of that name. And the Hauran, more probably El Bushira, I guess that's an actual place south of, I guess that's old Basra, south of the Dead Sea. But the Wettstein identifies it with Petra. Beautiful, beautiful. So what's the modern Petra? Babylon the Great. The modern Bozrah, Babylon the Great. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next shalom.